So after you buy a new BMX bike, you might want to start upgrading it. And if you look at upgrading your handlebars, there are a few things that you need to consider. One of them being the rise of the handlebars. This is one of the most important things that I think people often overlook. So in the Discord, G Chief says that I got a Cult Devotion 2022 with 9-inch handlebars. He's about 6 foot tall, and he uploaded a picture here and he says the headset or like the stack height is really low. So he wants to upgrade his bars, he wants to get taller bars, and he's torn between 10-inch handlebars or 11-inch handlebars. The frame on the Devotion has a 13.65-inch chainstay. He's considering going with an 11-inch rise. And so the question here is, what is a good handlebar upgrade for your BMX bike based on your height? And I think a common mistake that a lot of people make is that they buy handlebars that are way too big for them. Now, I'm a little biased because I ride handlebars that might feel a little bit small for most people. I mean, I ride like 9.5s right now, but so many people jump up to 10 inches or up to 11 inches without actually going in increments. And so this is what I'm gonna recommend for him and for anybody else who's considering upgrading to new handlebars. The biggest thing is to go in increments, okay? And so I wouldn't jump from 9-inch handlebars all the way up to an 11 because that's 2 inches. That's a huge jump. That's gonna change the dynamics of the bike like immensely, okay? I would consider going up to maybe a 9.5 or a 10 max before you make that jump to 11. If you get a 10, if you get 10-inch rise bars and then you realize, okay, this still isn't enough for me, then I'd go with the 11. But making the jump all the way to the 11 is kind of a crazy thing to do. It's just such a big jump. One thing that most people don't understand when they're upgrading their bike is how much just a 1/4 of an inch really affects the overall geometry. So where your handlebars are in terms of like where you're holding them and the height overall, just moving those up 1/2 inch, moving your hands up 1/2 inch taller bars or more stack height is gonna affect how easy the bike loops out, how easy it is to pull up, how easy nose manuals are. It's gonna have a huge effect on pretty much everything, and that's just 1/2 inch. So an inch to 2 inches is gonna just be crazy. Don't go overboard with it, okay? Take it in increments, make a small upgrade. So for this guy here in the Discord, I would recommend trying the 10-inch handlebars first, ride it for a while, and then if that is still not good enough, go up to the 11s or even 10.5. 11-inch handlebars are really tall, okay? So I wouldn't recommend going up there unless you absolutely have to. Here's the thing, taller handlebars do make the bike feel more comfortable. And if you're really tall, it might feel nice, it might relieve some back pain because you're not hunched over all the time, but actually maneuvering the bike and actually doing tricks gets a little bit harder with taller handlebars. And what I mean by that is the taller handlebars can allow the bike to loop out and become way too responsive. You want a certain level of resistance when you're pulling your front wheel up to do a high bunny hop or to get into a manual. And with tall bars, just the slightest amount of weight shift back can cause the bike to loop out. And so you really want to prevent this by finding a happy medium that works good for your overall bike geometry, your height, and the kind of riding that you do. And the only way to do this is to play with different sizes. I know this sucks, having to buy handlebars and then potentially having to buy new handlebars that are a different size, but this is honestly the best way to do it. And if you can, maybe you have a used market, like here in Phoenix, we have crazy Facebook marketplace deals. You can get handlebars and try different sizes out without paying $70 for full price handlebars. So just to wrap it all up, make increments, small increments when you're upgrading your bars. Don't jump 2 inches from a 9 to an 11, go from a 9 to a 9.5 or a 10 and make those smaller increments because a 1/4 of an inch or 1/2 inch really does matter. And then play with different sizes. You're not gonna know right off the bat. You're gonna have to try my bike, but these bikes behind me are all geometries that I've decided work best for me based off of experience. And even after buying this bike here, I decided I don't like it as much as this bike because the geometries are so different, and I went more street focused on that one. So play with it, play with the different geometries, and that's the only way to do it. If you're new to BMX or you have BMX questions that you want me to answer, don't forget to join the BMX Nerd Discord and ask your questions in there. I'm always in there answering questions and helping you guys out.